Hey everyone, it's Marlene here from Anna's, and today we're talking about salvaging your outdoor plants that you've enjoyed all spring and summer for transplanting and using for winter interior use, so you can enjoy them all year long. So if you've got your summer planter and you have incorporated tropical plants in them, you're going to want to separate them from your annuals. So here we have a couple examples. We have a couple different types of alocasia. We've got regal shields and Alocasia calidora. We've got a croton, we've got cordyline anti-lou, and we've got a bird of paradise. So if you've bought a planter from us, we might have incorporated one of these plants with your annuals, but unfortunately not all the annuals are going to last through the winter, so we're going to want to separate your tropical plant from the others. That way we can bring that tropical plant inside and enjoy it. So right here, actually first off, let's talk about your plant site for inside. So you're going to want to pick a spot in your house that has the brightest light. So if you have a southern or western exposure window, this is going to be the best. The more light the better, because all of these plants have to kind of be tricked into thinking it's still summer. They're not going to go dormant, so they do need a lot of light. So that's going to be the first step, making sure you have an adequate space for your plant for the winter. So looking at this planter, we've got Alocasia calidora in here, and we've got a few annuals. So we've got the Tradescantia, the Dichondra silver falls, we've got Helichrysum silver spike, and we've got a sweet potato vine. So I'm going to remove it first off from the pot. And the first thing I'm going to do is remove the annuals. So I'm going to break it up. I have a knife on hand, just in case the root system is really dense and I'm going to have to cut it off. So right now I'm going to separate all of the outer plants from the main alocasia. So you can see when I remove those plants, I kind of remove them superficially because I didn't want to disrupt the alocasia root system, which has gone straight to the bottom. So I removed a sliver from the top of each plant, sliver of soil just beneath that trailing plant. So I'm going to loosen up the soil a bit. So what I'm doing now is just loosening up these roots to give them a chance to spread into the new soil when I transplant it. So, in preparation to transplant, I've got a new pot, and you want to make sure this pot has drainage. The worst thing for a plant is for its root system to be sitting in water. So I have 4 holes on the bottom of this planter. I've got some all-purpose potting soil, so this is a mix with perlite to permit good drainage. So I have my potting soil ready. And then of course I've got a decorative pot too. So I've got this nice decorative pot, and I've sized my insert plastic pot with holes to fit perfectly in it. That way, when I want to water, I can simply remove my plant, water, and then replace without damaging my decorative pot. So I'm just going to put this down here for now. So after I've loosened up this root system, I'm going to place it right into my pot. So you don't want to go drastically larger than the existing root system. The root system fit nicely in the bottom of this pot, and I'm going to add fresh soil to the top. So this is a good match. When you're transplanting, you don't want to transplant larger than 4 to 6 inches compared to the existing pot. So you never want to transplant much larger than the pot it's currently in, because the root system can't saturate all of that soil very rapidly, and it'll be sitting in wet soil. So you want to give the root system a chance to catch up, saturate that soil, and then you can upgrade to a larger pot after that. So this plant, keep in mind, through the winter season, your houseplants won't do very much growing as days are shorter and there's not as much sunlight. So this is going to be more than sufficient space. You can see all the soil I've added here. So I'll just give it a light press. So one thing I'm concerned about when I'm bringing my plants inside is pests. So we want to ensure that we can minimize initially any pests from coming from your outdoor space to inside. So the first thing I want to do is remove any foliage that may have turned yellow or has damage to it. And this is going to reduce the surface area that pests are likely to gather on. So I've got a knife. Dealing with alocasia especially, the milk that is released when you cut an alocasia leaf is an irritant. So you want to make sure you're wearing gloves or you're very careful. I've done this many times, so I'm going to be very careful not to touch the end that I've cut. This leaf also has some damage on it, so I'm going to remove it because it's a huge pest attracting space. So I like to make sure I have as little risk of attracting pests, because I don't think you want pests in your house. I definitely don't. So I've removed that foliage. The next thing I can do is treat it with a soap mixture. So I've got Sunlight dish detergent in here. I have a little spray bottle, and I've put 2 teaspoons of Sunlight dish detergent in here. And what I'm going to do is spray every angle of every leaf, because pests are only killed with direct contact to the dish detergent. So this is going to kill any soft-bodied pest. So something like a spider mite or a mealybug, this will kill it, but only with direct contact. So I'm going to spray directly on the bottom of this leaf and the top. So I'm going to do that with every leaf, and I'm doing this preventatively. I didn't see any pests on here, but just in case there's some sort of egg or something that might hatch, I'm doing this preventatively before I bring it inside. So I'm spraying the top and bottom of every leaf. When this dries, this solution dries, it's no longer going to actively kill the pests. So you can just leave it right on there. It'll wash off with future waterings or a light rain. I plan to leave this outside for a couple days before I bring it in. You do want to water your plant initially. So I'm going to give this a really good watering. So we talked about sunlight. So when you bring it inside the house, you're going to want the brightest space possible, because like I mentioned, they're not growing as much in the winter as they are during summer months. You can actually reduce your watering. So a plant that you were watering daily outside on a sunny day, you might go down to weekly inside the house. So with respect to alocasia, they like to be a touch dry, and that goes for most tropicals. So you're going to wait till that topsoil is a little gray and crusty before you water it again. Fertilizing, you may have been watering weekly or weekly or bi-weekly during the summer, but you can use an all-purpose or organic fertilizer just to water monthly inside the house. So once I'm ready, I've watered my plant. I'm going to clean my space in preparation for my decorative pot. So temperatures are getting cooler, something I forgot to mention. You're going to want to wait until it drops below 10 degrees or 8 degrees Celsius for most plants. So once it drops below 50 at night is going to be your benchmark for wanting to bring those plants in. So not quite there yet, thankfully. We've got some nice weather in the forecast, but once it does drop below 10 Celsius, you're going to want to bring this in. So my plant is all ready. There you have it. It's ready for my interior space, and I can't wait to enjoy it this winter. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon.